You know I'm a hustler, hustler. You know I'm a hustler, hustler.
You
I
know,
like the profit first model, man, because I tell people if you put that, if you always are carving off a little cheese off the top and putting it into a marketing account, and if you're always taking that deposit and putting it into a material and labor account, you cannot go out of business because you'll always be able to generate an opportunity and you'll always be able to generate a job. You'll always be able to buy the material. You'll always be able to pay the labor. So that way you can always be sure to collect another check. Now, I want to preface myself. I said you can never go out of business. That's not true. There's a lot of guys that screw up a lot of crap, right? But you really put you in a position, like you said, for that continuity piece, right? If you always have a way to generate a nebulous lead outside of an agency doing it for you, right? If you can go knock a door for crying out loud, you can get an opportunity, but you have to be able to sell it.
right,
That's the difference.
right. And man, one of the interesting thing is that I found in construction business owner is nobody want to educate in the thing that they're bad at, in the thing that is gonna freedom from depending on the other people to feed them. And what I mean by that
Yeah.
is I'm gonna put this in the simplest term that anybody can understand. Uh, if you are solely depending on an agency to generate lead, they're feeding you. In a sense, I mean, you pay the money, but they know their leverage. They know
Mhm.
their leverage, so they gonna, hey, here's a carrot. Keep coming, baby. Just another 1,000 a month for ad management, about two more thousand a month. But
Mhm.
the good stuff's right here, bro. You know, but me, you cannot hold that leverage over me. Oh, your shit ain't work. I'll just run my own ad. Your SEO ain't working. I'll just do my own SEO. Yeah. How about I just go in my database and see what I can come up with? How about I just go knock doors? How about I just fire you and go hire another agency
Mhm.
because I know how to feed myself. So if
That's it, bro, right there. That's the juice because the biggest challenge people have when an agency relationship isn't going well or when they're not fulfilling the expectation they had set. There's a lot of conversation behind that, but it's hard to dump the agency.
yeah,
You can't say, you know what, I don't think this is working out. I appreciate it, but I need to find another partnership. You don't have the choice to just shut it down because you have no other lead sources. So there's fear associated, and sometimes they'll instill that fear. But the reality is, like, you need to have an agency lined up months ahead of time and then start doing these kind of front end things so that you can at least have the most seamless transition and still you're still 3 months out. So now when you think about just that, and then the other question is, what if they don't work out? What if that's not what I expected? What if? Maybe I just need to stick with where I'm at. And
yeah.
like you said, when you have at least lead sources that are going to be able to cover your overhead, I have enough leads coming in from these other sources that my guys are going to go out and sell them and I'm going to produce them. And I may not be crushing it. Maybe I'm even actually a little bit behind, but it's negligible or manageable. And that'll give me the freedom to be really choosy this next time around. I'm in no rush.
Hmm.
I can take all
Hmm.
the time in the world. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
that's true, man. That's a good point.
but like I say, if learn sales, obviously you gotta convert people. But
Mhm.
man, once you know marketing, like I don't give a shit who you are and what you do, but my price is my price.
Because you got another set of opportunities coming down.
You
If somebody
know,
doesn't like it, that's cool.
so
Right?
you're
It's no
not
worries, right?
you're not like bow down to this big guy that's gonna sub work out for you, right? Because you don't need them. But when you need them, okay, 2,000 for a deck, 800 for a deck. Okay, we'll do them.
Right. Exactly.
And that's
You're
how
handcuffed.
you stuck. So
Bro,
so
you're
my
you're handcuffed by the subs. You're handcuffed by the marketing agency, right?
Mhm.
You're handcuffed by your production team, your sales reps. I mean, that's the thing is you have to be able to put yourself in a position of freedom. We talk about freedom, freedom from your business and freedom financially and all of that. What about freedom within your business to make the decisions you need to make in the way that you need to make them without having to worry about what the friggin' tsunami wave is going to be when you decide to do it?
Yeah, it's like I think about it like this. I think about it like, okay, if you don't have option, that's when you make shit decision,
Mhm.
right? So have option for your sales guy. Instead of hiring one, hiring three. Have option for your sub crew instead of having one sub crew, have three. So I feel like when you inject competition, like the performance and I don't want to say the respect. I think more fear. The fear factor raise up, and I don't want anybody to fear me,
Yeah.
but I want them to respect their job and have a little fear in the job, right?
Yeah, I think
Because
that's
out,
healthy. It's finding that balance, right?
right,
Yeah.
right. So then they can go and deliver what I pay them to deliver, right? Because I work with a lot of subcontractor in the marketing world, in the sales world, in the production world, and if they know and they know that they are the only option for this specific type of task, then they're gonna play the leverage game on you. So what? Man, I love all the marketing agency I am with, but you should always educate yourself on what is being done, and not that say that your marketing agency is doing a bad job, but you can help them be better, get better result. It's just not like here $5,000, Eddie, go get me some lead. That's not how it works.
Yeah, there was a guy that I'm a friend of that we met a long time ago at a conference. And what he does now is he has a program where he educates business owners, home improvement business owners, on how to run meetings with marketing agencies. And I thought, man, I'm like, that's brilliant, dude.
Uh,
Like how to be the driver of the conversation. You know what I mean? And so what it made me think at first I thought, well, what do you mean? Like what do you how and then once I started digging into it, what I realized is business owners are relying on the marketing agency to drive the agenda of their lead generation program. They aren't coming to the agency with, this is my plan. This is what we're doing this month. This is the agenda. This is what we're pushing. As far as an example would be when, when we realized at one point, cash was getting tight, we were hiring people and adding just a bunch of infrastructure. And so when I looked at that, I thought, how do I move my cash position a little bit further along? And I realized that we could add a lot more contribution cash by pushing siding, for example. Right. And so coming to that agency conversation, it's like, hey, they had their list of all the different SEO and blogs and things they were going to run. And it was really more for our bathroom side of the business. So I had to go to them and say, hey, we're going to flip that up. And this is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to run it. And, what are you guys going to do on your end and kind of what's your piece of that plan? And what I found is that people aren't coming to the conversation with that agenda in mind and intentionality. So I thought it was actually a really good idea. Because you're the one running the show, y'all.
mm-hmm.
You're the one
Mm-hmm.
calling the shots. The
Mm-hmm.
the any of these guys are just vessels. And that's what I think is ultimately every piece, part, component of our business is just a little tool or a machine or a vessel that kind of helps the whole ecosystem kind of run,
Yeah.
you
That,
know?
that's
But
why
we have to be in charge of what that looks like and how it's going to work.
uh, that's why I'm very skeptical now when I give out referrals to agency
It's
because
tough.
Uh, because here's why. You don't know what I know. And if you do, it's fine. Let's have a conversation. And why you not getting lead? If you know what I know, you always have lead, right? But if you don't know what I know and you go in here and you don't do the thing that necessary for them to succeed in the role of your marketing agency, like for example, before and after pictures, you gotta get those to them. So your brand identity, your brand mission, vision, value, you gotta get it to them. I'm gonna, because I'm not married to my business right now. I love that growth, but at the same time, you're not willing to be, uh, flexible in the naming of your young company, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Rebrand action or something like that, right?
because I'm a big believer in the messaging in the first first stage is your name. What are your name sets? Tell people. Deck Bros, we do fucking decks. That's it. But I don't mean to call people out on this episode, but if the shoe fits, listen to me. Your name got to tell people what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, if you specialize to weaponize, then make your name specialized too. So I think people are missing a big opportunity. I think that's one of the um big marketing ship that people can make. It
I mean, I
just
never liked there was a time where I didn't necessarily like the Contractor Life Academy name, right? And again, I'm not necessarily married to it. I might dip it tomorrow, who knows, right? Um, but somebody brought up something interesting to me. They said, so basically you teach contractors how to do contractor life. Yeah, that's what we do. We teach contractors, help contractors live their best contractor life, man. Super simple. And again, I'm not married to it, but it's interesting you say that because if we're building out some other pieces of the Contractor Life Academy, it's a lot of thoughtfulness that goes into the name and the brand and what that represents. So the first time somebody hears it, they're either going to want to be a part of it or not. They're either going to
right,
want to look more into it or they're not. And so it is vitally important. And I don't want to bang on agencies, of course, because they are a critical piece of our business. But there are pieces and parts where guys will complain and be frustrated, but they're not following through with some of that stuff. They're not collecting the reviews. They're not getting the before and after pictures in. They're not giving them any collateral from the jobs that they've done to be able to highlight some positive customer experiences. There's some responsibilities and roles. And another guy I was talking to hadn't talked. He was putting out $8,000 a month and had not had a conversation with his agency in 8 months. He hadn't talked to him, not a scintillion of a conversation, and then was wondering why there's mediocre results at best. Like it's okay, but for his spend when we started digging into the numbers, they weren't great. It was adequate, and like you have to do your part. You have to, it's a relationship, it's a partnership. It's not let me ship you some money and then you go do your thing and then give me the leads. You have to be invested at some level in that.
yeah, and I think it's go a little bit deeper. Is most people don't like. I'm not saying most people, but I'm saying the majority of us in life in general, we have a fear of people judging us. We have
Oh,
a
for
fear of
sure.
putting ourselves out there. What are they going to think of me? What if I own a construction business, but my face is never on there, because I don't feel comfortable in front of the camera, because I'm building my business to sell, so I don't really want to, man, you ain't selling shit, dude.
What was
You
that you
got
told the guy the other day? He was like, oh,
you
I want to get what was
you
it? The training, the oh gosh, what was it, man? Where the guy wanted to get some public speaking training.
yeah, yeah.
And it was about, because we're always encouraging people like
Yeah,
get on Facebook, man, get your face on the video. People want
yeah,
to connect with someone,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
They want to have a personal connection with the business, and a logo and some before and after pictures ain't
And
gonna make that happen. And I think you said the best training you can get. And he's like, what's that? Is like turn your phone around and hit record.
hey, yeah, I'm gonna do a quick video right here. Oh. Hey, it's your boy Luan here. I'm here doing podcast with the one and only Ryan Diamond in my little studio here. Get biz, do biz, get paid. You got to turn in this episode. I'm gonna skip him ahead just because he's Brian. So, but he will get published hopefully next week. Damn, 20 second. That's a promotion
That's
live.
it.
Right here.
That's
That's a
it.
promotion for my podcast right there. I got it done in live. Hey, who I am, and if people see you enough, you don't even tell them who you are. I don't need to tell people who I am anymore. I used to, but just tell people who you are, what you're here to do, and what can you do for people, and just post that shit, man.
And guess what,
Uh,
man? If they don't respond, they ain't your people.
and
It's
and the
okay.
thing is, if you don't want to do that anymore. Wow, your sales guy can do it.
Hmm.
Wow, your PM can do it. Wow, somebody else can do it that, love playing on their phone or what the fuck ever. But
Yeah.
the missing P is the personal branding in business, I think. I think if people can get this stuff right, it will help with their sale. It will help with their marketing. It will help with their recruiting. It will help with everything. But it has to be done deliberately, right? I audit a lot of people. It's like, dude, you post a picture of fucking Dak like 18 million times already. What else are you doing? Are you sending handwritten notes? Are you sending gifts? Are you showing up in the community? Are you donating shit? Like, okay, if you don't want to be on camera, that's fine, but do something offline. Do something offline that nobody can copy you. Do some of that. So just to make sure that you in the fucking neighborhood,
And
right?
again, like for context, we're talking like sub $3 million companies, sub $2 million companies. Because even both you and I, there's a part where we just run straight ads. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
there's enough money that we're just running straight ads, and that's what we do. And it's just business brand in general. But if you're smaller in general, if you're smaller and you don't have the budget to be able to do that, it's the personal connection people can have to a brand, especially in a small community. Will Man, people asked me this before. I had a conversation just recently about a guy that had a major, like, 9-figure company move into their market. And I told them, well, what they're going to do is they're going to push the before and after pictures of the decks, and they're going to push, some material specific kind of whatever. But they are not going to invest any time, effort, and energy into building relational equity with their community. They're not.
Yeah.
They ain't interested in it. They ain't got the bandwidth for it. They don't have the skill set for it. They don't know how to do it. But that is how you can win. If we think, and I'm not a historian buff, but if you think about World War II and the French resistance, right? They were empowering local communities to be able to subvert some of the you know mechanisms of these big war machines. Like that's how you know what I mean? They brought communities together. They empowered them. And I think of the same thing. That's how we always competed when I started doing this, was knocking on a door is the ability to stand in front of somebody and have a genuine conversation. And then I can craft my brand message to the avatar that I'm standing in front of instead of trying to find the right avatar. Does that make sense? If I'm
Hmm.
standing in front of a blue collar guy, I can talk blue collar. We can talk about blue collar stuff. If I'm standing in front of a C-suite kind of individual, I can have that conversation too. And I get to do that individually on one-offs to be able then to make that connection. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't, I don't, man, people don't spend enough time on that.
I
And it's
mean,
not hard. And
they on
it's
Facebook
inexpensive.
they're on Facebook 6 hour a day. mean, I'm
Yeah.
I'm guilty. Yeah, the shit. That's how I
Hit the
know.
record button, man. You've been on there
Man,
for 6 hours. Hit the
man,
record and post.
man, I thought you were working on a pricing model.
Right.
Man, but
Yeah. You know what they're doing, man, is they're watching everybody's like super slick, highly produced. You know what I mean? And then they're just getting there's yeah, what like a imposter syndrome, right?
uh,
Oh, that's really good, man. That's a video. I don't have videos like that. I've done it. I've looked at stuff and been like, you know what? I don't want to post anything until or it's the same message. Why am I going to talk about something the same thing that these guys are talking about? Right? I do it myself. And I think you know what the difference is? Number one, they're not me. And number two, they don't have my same audience. And I had somebody come to me at a conference and be like, oh, you and I are kind of in competition a little bit. And I said, oh, that's kind of funny you say that. And he said, why is that? I said, because I don't think we are. He said, why not? It's because you're not me. You know what I mean?
that's it.
You ain't got
That's
my head. You ain't got my people. You ain't got my background. You ain't got my passion. You're no
that,
competition. Are you crazy? What are you talking
that's
about?
it. That's it. That's it. I could talk about this all day, but another thing that I think that's gonna help contractor a lot is they just gotta learn how to do some math, man.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Just learn math. Do math every day.
The whole game's it's all just a math game, to be honest with you. If you
Uh,
simply just
uh,
tracked the outcome of your effort from a mathematical standpoint, this is it. It's how many leads can I get in, how many leads can I convert, to how many appointments can I go run, to how many can I sell, at what price point that gives me the GP I need. Can we produce the job at the GP I need at scale to be able to outpace my overhead, which leaves net profit that turns into cash that I can then parlay into doing it all over again at the next level.
I mean, most don't even know how to build a profitable job before selling to somebody.
Mm.
Uh, that's the business, guy. That is the business. Hey, budgeted costs. Here's how much I'm gonna charge you. And then after you do it, oops, this is how much it actually costs. Oh shit. But if you don't have to go through that cycle on every job,
What was that again? What did you say at the end when you get all your numbers? What
oh
do they say?
shit. Oh shit. So
Oh.
also, but let's say that's one job that maybe take a week, right? One job take a week, and you were supposed to make 9,000, but you only make five. But if you do, but if you do math after every job is done, you know that you only make five this job. So next job you'll be like, it's
And doing
gonna
that
run,
again.
it's gonna run different. But if you don't, if you tell me that my QuickBook does it for me, like my CRM does it for me, like, uh, then you don't know your number.
Yeah.
Then you have no fucking clue. And
There's
if
a
you
challenge, man. There's just I don't yeah, you're on spot, man. You're right on par. You're 100% correct.
and
Learn how to build a profitable job.
and that is, if you can do that right, then the whole thing will work out in itself. But you have to do a job per job basis, right? Like you have to know, like that's why you can hear if you talk to Jazz, she's like, he's weird about collecting. I'm like, where the fuck is my money? Because I want to know how much I want to, because I want to know how much I'm making.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, like if you're producing and you're running out of cash, or you don't know where your money's at, or you're always chasing money, probably go back and job cost a little bit.
Yeah,
Because what you're anticipating showing up is not showing up. Because remember, you're just getting a small check. You're getting what, 10% left over, 5% left over, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So you're not even correlating all the expenses and all the things that have already happened. And the reality is that 10% ain't even yours.
yep.
That's not because your expenses have already outpaced the contribution cash that's come in. So that money's already spent, bro. That goes to the lease on the office or something.
You know, and this is the thing is like this thing I noticed, And I got passionate about this because I'm trained as an accountant, even though sometimes I'm lazy and I don't do job costs for a whole quarter.
Drives me crazy.
But I would look at the receipt and I would know how much I'm paying the sub. I know I'm making money, right? But don't get into that situation where, like me, I know I could have make way more money if I
Mhm.
job cost every single job. So the reality is a lot of people can talk about financial understanding, throwing out all this accounting, big word, gross profit, net profit, EBITDA. If you don't fucking post, we call it in the casino, we call post forma, pre forma, and post forma.
Pro
If
forma, yeah,
you
yeah.
don't
Dream Pro.
do the post forma or after job costing, you don't know shit about accounting or managerial accounting. You don't know not a lick of thing. You just hear some speaker talk about profits first, and you repeat what they say, but you actually have to dive into the
Mhm.
fucking numbers and look over the costs. Because once you start looking, what happened is I want to know more.
Yeah, it totally does get you into this deep dive, and
I,
it's interesting when we start jumping in with guys in our masterminds and on the one-on-one coaching and stuff, and they get a chance to actually dig in. You've seen it too, where guys are just like whoa. I mean, it opens up kind of this secret mode or something like that, this little beast mode of changing that mindset from a trades guy to a business owner, because now they get a glimpse of how that money moves within their business. And there's a couple guys, one guy was going out of business, he was starting to lay off people in April of last year, and we started digging into the numbers, like why you're building jobs, but you're running out of cash, and we're getting into a tight spot. You're thinking about laying people off. What's the problem? It's not a lead acquisition problem. It's not a production problem. You're selling jobs. But once we got him into the numbers and understanding how important that is, at the end of 2023, he had produced $2.4 million, had a 20% net profit, opened an office, bought a truck, bought a trailer, hired a PM, hired a designer, right? Like that was one of the little components it took, is to just get him mindful of the idea like this business is a vessel to produce cash.
right.
You can talk about your trade skill all you want. You can talk about how you're a master at this or a master at that. You can talk about your 20 years of experience. You can talk about all of those things. But at the end of the day, if this machine does not produce cash and a lot of it at the end of the year for you, you need to get a job or you need to find a different machine. Got to build some. I don't care if it's a cupcake shop. I don't care. It has to produce cash. And that is a numbers thing. So that's why you've heard me before. I can dig way deep into the numbers, gloss people's eyes over, but at
Okay,
the end of the day, that's how
okay.
critical. I've seen you. We've done it before,
Yeah,
right?
so I mean, if you job cost, you can categorize it like, is it cedar, shit composite, good composite, and you can segment your product out, and
Mhm.
or you can segment people out. You can segment it by geographically. Am I making more money in West O or East O, whatever? There's so many things that if if I really want to, I can, but like not we're not big enough to get into that granular details, you know.
Yeah.
Uh
Well, it's simple.
uh
If I got a job and I know that I can sell it for 20
yeah,
grand, and when I sell it, I make $4,000 and I need 20 to cover my overhead, I know I need produce 5 jobs.
yeah.
And
So
it's
I think
simple, right?
our burn rate is 3,200 a job. So that's the overhead. So I know that to hit our net profit, we need to make 8 grand a job. Net
Charge,
net.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's
So
super solid.
so that's the direction to my production team. Don't fucking lose money. I'm
Mhm.
coming after you.
Right. I used to tell guys they'd overrun on the job, and then they'd like a subber, for example, would say, they come back, oh, it took us 2 extra days and we need X amount of money, or with time we had in-house guys for a little bit. And it's a 4-day job and it'd be 5 or 6 days. And So I told him one of the guys came in and I said, "Hey man," I said, "I got that money for you. You just need to go to the house and get it from Katie." And they're like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, just go to the house and get it from just say, hey, I'm sorry, but we ran an extra 2 days over a job that we did over at your husband's company, and it's going to cost us. We need like $2,500, and so could you just write us a check maybe and get that?" I'm like, "Bro, that'll be the last time you run over on a job. I'll guarantee you that right now." But that's what it is, right? Isn't it? It's literally taking that money out of the profits of the company that end up going back to our families. So why wouldn't you do that? I'm not bringing that money back to mama. I'm giving it to them for a 4-day job that took them 6 days. So if I'm not, and what if I had to go get that check? Hey, baby, can you write me a check real quick? I got to pay these guys because they took 2 days longer than we anticipated. But that's my, I'm supposed to be watching. I'm supposed to be paying attention to that stuff. I just didn't pay attention. Bro, that'll be the last time she opens that checkbook for me. I'll guarantee you that. Hey,
uh, yeah. So, man, we touched a lot of subject, but we didn't talk
did.
a lot about production. But I assume that everybody already know. I assume, okay. I assume that everybody already know how to do production. But if you have problem collecting, your shit sucks. I'm
AR
just
is the worst, man.
if if you have trouble collecting,
AR is the worst.
your product needs to be better. I'm talking in strictly what I've seen when I operate a construction company. If your product is not good, people will not pay. And I mean, there's some extreme cases, but that usually is the case.
Yeah. I, I,
So,
I agree. I
so the
agree.
collection process, you can put in some contract fancy language in there, lean notice. But I think it start from how the fuck you close the job out.
Yeah. One of the things that was always interesting to me is why people aren't collecting checks on the day of completion. To be able to set the homeowner up that when that last nail is driven or that last roller brush goes on the wall, whatever it may be, that job's done. And we need to get paid for that. And people get concerned about it. They're like, well, there's punch lists and there's other things that have to be attended to. And there's walkarounds that we do and things like that. That's fine. But if that walkaround's complete, there's a check going in my hand. If that punch list is complete, there's a check going in my hand. And we typically use subcontractors and we're running $6 million sub-based, only 500 jobs a year, maybe. And all the subs collected our checks. And some people like it, some people don't, is what it is. It worked for us. We still got our reviews. We still had happy clients, whatever. We figured it out. But when they left that job, if the sub did not bring an instrument of payment with them, then that invoice didn't get set up for payment. Like that was a part of their completion, was they had completed the job to a level of specification that the homeowner was willing to give them the check for it once they did the walk around, because that is the product. The sub is the giving me a product. It's a job that's done in a way that the homeowner, we've met the specifications that we told the homeowner we would, and they've signed off on it and approved of the work and are willing to pay for it. And what happens then is, I remember when we were looking at a line of credit to be able to grow, we needed just a little cash as a backup, just a little buffer. And the guy, the banker asked us what our AR was or what our, like outstanding invoices and such. Like, I don't have any. He's like, what are you talking about? Everybody has. I'm like, literally, we don't. Like, here's our reports right here. We got maybe like 2 jobs and they got done yesterday. And I think we just haven't got it from the sub yet to be able to record it. And so I just encourage guys, you absolutely can. We hear all the time, well, I can't do that in my market. I can't do that in my business. My clients would never go for that. They will if you set them up correctly. And that's just a construct of what you do and how you do business. And if they want to do business with you, then that's what they're going to do. So that's my take on the AR conversation.
You shouldn't ever have an AR, in my opinion. AR, I mean, you can't collect.
I've seen 90-day ARs,
Oh, hell no.
60-day ARs,
You know,
aging.
e even if your job get like multiple stages, maybe you need to pass the final, write that shit in the contract. Payment due when final pass.
That's what we have. Yeah. 100%.
When
The other one is
final
when, go
when
ahead.
when, when final pass, the money is mine. And
Oh yeah.
I say it in the sale process too, so it's not like it's a surprise
We
to them.
we want to charge. So if a homeowner doesn't give us the check, I think they have 48 hours, and then they have a 1.5% service fee on the remaining balance. And I believe it was a $45 late fee that they paid. And that was within 48 hours. And I believe if it went to 30 days, then it just went to lien. I think by the third week, we were starting the lien process. We were getting the letters and the notifications out that we were getting ready to lien if we didn't get a check. And guys will ask, well, what if we're inserting windows and one of the windows is mismeasured and it's not good? What if, there's a piece or component of the project that didn't get executed? And in our agreement, what we talk about is majority complete. So if the job is majority complete, what we're going to do is collect the final check minus what the cost would be if we were going to complete that as a standalone project. If I was going to put one window or two windows in, what would be the cost of that? And that'll get deducted from the final and collected when we swing back around. If there's a cabinet door or something that didn't, that's fine. Then we'll have a dollar amount. And what the dollar amount is if we don't show up or
You get to
come
keep
back,
that
they'll
shit.
have enough money to hire somebody else to get it taken care of. The other thing is that what people are concerned about, our homeowners will say, well, what if you guys don't show up? Or literally they're not giving them. I've seen people hold up $30,000 on a lever on a window.
Mm.
And the conversation is there anything from the reason that you hired us to the experience you've had while we've been working on your home to anything we've done this far that would suggest we wouldn't show back up? And then the homeowner will go, well, no. And then I just jump right in and say, okay, great. Well, I'll go ahead and collect that balance from you minus the $1,500. Right. And then I just turn around and go back to doing something or inspecting something or whatever the case. Right.
Yeah, that's what when there's things like that, that's what I do. I'm like, Bill, you holding 30,000 for a fucking $3,000 problem, or you holding three thousand for a $300 problem.
Yeah.
Like I just told him shut up. I need to get paid, bro.
Yeah.
It's it be it depends to if people there's some people are gonna try to rob you, so that's when the lean
It's a real thing.
that that's when lean happened. I didn't know that was a real thing until I started construction. Like there is legit motherfucker out there that they will
There's
hire.
people that will not give you $1,000 because they'll hold $1,000 back and literally just cut you a check for 1,000 less because they know it ain't gonna be worth your time to go chase them down in
Yep,
court for $1,000, bro.
yep, yep,
Crazy talk.
yep. So there's bad actors out there,
There
right?
is. It's
Brian,
unfortunate.
if people want to join, people want to be around you, how can they find you, man?
On the ecosystem, most of our stuff lives on Facebook. So you can go to Facebook and type in Contractor Life Academy, and our group will pop up. Our Facebook page, you can join the group where we have content that comes out on the regular. You can also check us out directly at the academy.contractorlifeacademy.com. You can DM me. And currently, we're bringing people into our online video series. We're opening up masterminds so we can accommodate more people. We've got coaches like myself, like you, and some other guys that you can come in and be a part of just that accelerated kind of growth. And that's what we have. We teach one call close sales training. We help people create lifestyle businesses and legacy wealth through systems and processes and whatever they need to be able to accomplish that. We can accommodate them. So excited to see more businesses show up and help more guys accomplish that.
Well, guys, I'm this is plug hour, so I'm gonna plug myself in here too. I do run a mastermind in there, but my style is like it's very different. I'm not gonna baby you. Either you do it and you get out, because this the mastermind I run is for beginners, and at that point you just need to uh to go in and get the right information and execute. It's really it's not that hard. So if you like what you hear today, go sign up and I will be there. I don't do any one-on-one though, because I would have to charge like 10 grand. So unless you want
Man,
to,
I could only imagine what that would look like. That'd be I'd love to sit on a couple of those. But that's why I like about the way that you're leading the Essentials Mastermind is it's really what's needed is this mindset of if you're gonna come, you're either gonna do it or don't, man. You're either gonna be a business owner or you're gonna be a trades guy that has a job. So make the change, and there's like a level of accountability there. It's a no BS kind of approach to doing it. Because again, we've talked about it. It's really comes down to who is the owner and what are they about? Do they have grit and tenacity and stick to itiveness or don't they? But that's one thing I like is, I'm a get in the weeds, detail oriented, micro kind of evolution into business building. And you keep it pretty straightforward. You know how to take whatever I talk about and keep it simple. That's a superpower that you have, and it's either going to do it or you don't, bro. Here's what you need to do: get biz, do biz, get paid.
that's it, man. That's a whole concept of keeping it simple, right? Because I've I've tried to scale complex stuff. People just like have a deer in headlight. You say what? What?
Yeah,
So you gotta do this, complete these checklists, and do what?
right.
I'm like,
That's me,
okay.
bro. I'm all about the checklist, man. What are you talking about? I love myself a good checklist.
I'm like, you project manager, you manage the project. That's your job. Okay. And then here's some tools to help you out. But I don't know if I will ever be a complex guy. I'm not built that way in a sense. Like I could take really complex concept and distill it down to like job costing, money in, money out. How much are you making this job? That's it. That's accounting. Welcome to math.
I think
You
that's a
learn
good thing,
this.
man, about there's different levels, right? Is that there's the, get biz, do biz, get paid concept of it. And then there's a point where if you want to dig into the details
We
and you want to
can.
break your job costing out by sub trade and by product category and all of these different things, we have the capacity and ability and the knowledge to be able to do that. But at the end of the day, we just got to keep it simple. The business has you got to get paid and you got to create cash, man. And if you're not, probably need some help. That's the biggest challenge. Y'all got to just get a path. Have somebody help create a path for you and then keep it simple and just give you a little nudge and a little guidance. And that's what I
Mhm.
like about the mastermind is, you guys don't play around. Let's go get it.
May,
Let's make it happen.
maybe I need to go get some speaking lesson on how to speak fancy. Like how
Hey man, no, listen, nobody can deny. And you talked about it earlier. Somebody said, what's your secrets? People ask me, what's Luan's secret sauce? What's the deal? How did he do it? And I said, here's something you got to realize right off the rip. You ain't Luan. You ain't Luan. You're just not Luan. You're not him. And so you can call and you can talk about, you can do whatever, but you're just not that dude because there's a class of guys that operate a certain way, and he's in that class. But if you want to mimic what he's done or want to take something away, don't overcomplicate it, right? Action over fear. It's another one, right? The
yeah.
guy makes a decision to do something and he does it, he figures it out later. Once just to get your mind onto something, follow through and get it done. Right. These are just some general concepts that I think you teach in that mastermind. And I think it's making a big difference for people, man. So I personally want to tell you I appreciate you as a coach and as a friend. Because you're making
Thanks,
a big
man.
difference in something that I'm passionate about, which is the CLA, and I'm glad to have you as a part of it, bro. So
Let's go take some name and burn some shit down, bro.
That's it,
All right,
bro.
we out. COA out.
You know I'm a hustler, hustler. You know I'm a hustler.